I'm alive. As you can see, I'm alive. I've been struggling with my health, especially mental health, after experiencing 73 days in a place that I never dreamt to be in, and suffering some horrors in that space. I've been getting treatment and counseling, and I'm still undergoing that treatment and counseling. So at the moment, I'm just happy to be alive and progressing. Yeah.
There was a lot of shocking and surprising responses from the state when you spoke at the UN Watch. Have you been able to go through what they said, and what are your thoughts about that?
So I read the speech from, the words that were quoted from the Minister of Information, the Honorable Minister Soda Jemu, equating the things that I had said to sort of close to treason, and saying that I should be charged under the Patriotic Act, that would impose at least 10 years in prison for me. The fact that the state thinks that I committed an offense is not a problem for me, because anyone who commits an offense must be allowed by our law to get before a competent law of jurisdiction and prove their innocence. And for me, that is how a democracy and legal systems work. But my apprehension is on pre-trial detention. Remember, I spent 73 days in prison on allegations that I had allowed someone to speak on TV, and I had broadcast the message from that person, right? I am not a broadcaster. I've never been a broadcaster, or I do not have a broadcasting license with the Zimbabwean government. Heart and Soul TV and radio has the broadcasting license. It is the one that broadcasts, and it's a no-brainer. But I was kept in prison for 73 whole days. After being released from prison, I've insistently and consistently demanded for the state to prosecute me and to bring the matter to finality. A whole year after my arrest, they had an excuse one way or the other. And the time I failed to go back to Zimbabwe because I was under medical treatment, immediately they issued a warrant of arrest. And I'm told right now, as I continue to get medical treatment, they want to seize and sell property of title deeds that they are holding as security for me to appear in the court. But the Constitution provides the right to access to health. I feel at the moment I'm not in the right state of mind and health to be in Zimbabwe. But fundamentally, if I was going to go back to Zimbabwe today and in my health state, right, be arrested and denied bail, I would probably die. So that is just basically what worries me. But when I'm healthy enough, yeah, and strong enough, I'm prepared and willing to face my day in court, because I know for a fact that I didn't do anything wrong. In fact, whatever I said in Geneva was the truth. It was factual, and there were people making noise, including the minister, alleging that I am putting pressure for sanctions to be called on Zimbabwe, when I specifically and explicitly said in my speech, I do not support sanctions. And I don't. I will never support anything that will hurt the ordinary and the poor in Zimbabwe. Sanctions have been there for the longest in Zimbabwe. But have the elites not been driving expensive vehicles? Have they not been living in plush suburbs in the Borodale? Have they not been flying? Have they not been going to the US to attend UN meetings? The same people who were allegedly on sanctioned by the United States of America. Have they not been traveling there? So, but who has suffered the burn of sanctions? I have. Yeah, I have personally. I've suffered from sanctions because number one, you can't monetize on X in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
You can't monetize on Facebook from Zimbabwe, and yet that is the lifeblood of my profession. For me to be able to monetize from the work that I do, I'm the one who's suffering, not them. They're not worried. They will just take the money from the gold mafia, from wherever. So I don't support sanctions in any way or form. But I say this, and because people are bent at punishing instead of building, they would make such threats.
Okay. And you mentioned that arrest stemming from covering a press conference. I wasn't there, so I wouldn't know, but were any questions asked? Was it an interview, or because what we saw was the broadcast video of one person talking? Were you even there?
So what shocks me really is that the person who was making the speech, right?
Yeah.
At a press conference is Blessed Geza, right?
Yeah.
But Blessed Geza was sitting with 5 other people. None of them were charged with anything, right? But under law, right? The law Criminal Codification Reform Act actually speaks to these issues. That conspiring to, they were sitting there and agreeing with that message.
Joint enterprise, basically, yeah.
Yeah. So if that message indeed, did exactly what they accused Geza to infer to violence, I mean, at least they could have also charged the other guys who were agreeing with it, right? There is absolutely no evidence that I was even there at the press conference, right? But fundamentally, that law, what that law says, it says that broadcasting with intention, right? So intention implies that you actually know what this person is about to say. Right? But you're a journalist, Maynard. You know that when you go to a press conference, you don't even know what the person who has called for the press conference wants to say, right? And this press conference was live streamed, right? So there was no time for anyone to actually know what Geza wanted to say. But what is even worse is that Geza spoke, right? And he said that his statement was, and I quote, "We will tell the people of Zimbabwe to deal with a rogue president in line with the constitution." Right? Then, what did the police do and the state? They remove the part in line with the constitution and said, "We will tell the people to deal with the rogue president." And then they said that was, but even considering that he didn't say in line with the constitution, right? The word that he put, rogue president, right? Rogue basically means someone who is not in office legitimately. And therefore, anyone who knows that President Emmerson Mnangagwa was legitimately elected knows he's not a rogue president. So you sit there and ask, do the police who arrested me think that President Emmerson Mnangagwa is a rogue president? Do they know something that we don't know? Yeah?
Yeah.
You ask yourself that. Or maybe the question is, do they understand English? Or their intention was basically to punish me, to punish my family, right? Because when I was in prison, I couldn't work. After I was released, I had lost already a lot of opportunities. I mean, you do know that journalism in Zimbabwe does not really pay. So for us to survive, to make our family survive, we've had to sell, to open small businesses to sustain us. When I was in prison, I couldn't do that. I lost lots of opportunities, and had it not been of the solidarity for Zimbabweans around the world who raised around £7,000 for my family to survive whilst I was in prison, my daughter, who was supposed to write A-levels, which she did very well, by the way, passed with 14 points, would have failed to write I would not been able to to pay for a fees, right? Imagine the life that they wanted to destroy. An innocent young girl, innocent two sons of mine wanted to destroy their life simply because they believe that I allowed a grown man like Blessed Geza to speak on TV.
And then just in terms of looking into the future for you, I know you said you're receiving treatment. Will we see you going back home at any point? When are we likely to start seeing you back on the screens? Because viewers miss you a lot, by the way.
Look, I'm 46, right? I turned 46 in December, at the end of this year. And from the day I was born to this day, I've known no other country but Zimbabwe. I've stayed in Zimbabwe. I've established myself in Zimbabwe, even though I have to say so myself. You know, I'm studying law at the University of Zimbabwe because I genuinely believe that's where I should be, and that's my family, my children, they are all in Zimbabwe. So it's a no-brainer that I am going back home. That's a no-brainer. I'm definitely going back home. I just want to go back home in the right state of mind and the right state of health to be able to face what I know is coming to me. Before I went to prison for the first time, when they were looking for me, I was out of the country. Remember?
Yes.
I was in Zambia, and I heard that they were looking for me. I had 2 more weeks of work that I was supposed to do in Zambia. But when I saw a police statement that they were looking for me, I ditched everything that I was doing, packed my bags, flew back home, right? And walked into the police station and said, "Here I am. You've been looking for me." Because at that time I was healthy, I was strong enough.
Yeah.
Even though I knew that chances are I was going to be denied bail, I was going to stay in prison. I thought maybe for 2 weeks. I didn't think it was going to get to 3 months.
93 days.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to get to 3 months. And also genuinely because I have been a very law-abiding citizen and I have no intention of breaking the country's laws. But the government of Zimbabwe must not have intentions of breaking the country's laws by punishing its own people, especially given the fact that, and I say this with pain in my heart, my father, Gilbert Dhara Mhlanga, was a war veteran. He fought in the War of Liberation of Zimbabwe. He died, and after serving the Zimbabwean army for 20 good years, as a captain in the Zimbabwe National Army. He supported ZANU-PF, you know, and one thing that he told me was that I went to war so that you have the right to disagree with me. My own father. I went to war, I fought in this war so that you have the right to disagree with me. And what, I mean, a son of a war veteran being punished for a crime that he did not commit. But even if I was the one who had broadcast it, even if, let's just say I had broadcast, what crime is there in allowing someone to speak in a country where Section 61 and 62 of the Constitution provides for freedom of speech, right? So for instance, right now, Maynard, you are speaking to me,
yeah,
and say you are live streaming, and I say something that you do not expect me to say, you would be arrested if you're in Zimbabwe. That's what it means. You know, that's exactly what it means. And what it means is that you will be held accountable for things that other people say, even though they are above the age of 18. And you'll be kept in prison without an opportunity to prove whether you're innocent or not. Right? And that is what scares me. That is what scares me. And that is what hurts me. But I will definitely, Maynard, to answer your question in short, I will definitely go home because my future and my life is in Zimbabwe.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr.
This is the current situation we are having in our country, Zimbabwe. Munyika medu hamuna kugadzikana. Isusu sekuruka Jones Media tiri kupa kutsvagira inyaya, tinouya nenyaya semawanira tinenge tadziita, hatiwedzere kana kutapudza. Thank you so much for watching our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like, comment and share. I am signing out.